PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 games. Today we're going to be looking at the PlayStation Store and picking out some key free titles that don't include the likes of Fortnite or PUBG, because everybody should know about them by now. Instead, these are going to be the ones that you don't know about and you can really enjoy and get your teeth sunk into. I already know what my favourite is, but I'm going to be showing you all the gameplay recorded directly from my PlayStation 5. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Vampire Masquerade Blood Hunt is a free-to-play game on the PlayStation 5, and this one caught me by surprise. I'll give a shout out to my friend Wazza, who alerted me to this game quite some time ago, and when I initially played it, I didn't like it, but I have gone back to it since, and albeit my skills are incredibly rusty and there's a lot to do and a lot to learn, I think this game could potentially grow on me. Now, rather than sit here listening to me ramble on about my personal experience, you want to know what it is. This is a battle royale game, not really in the vein of PUBG. It doesn't actually feel like that. It's way cooler. It is way cooler. I mean, you are a vampire. You can pick from different factions of vampires, all with different supernatural powers that will help you or hinder you, depending on how you use the skills within the game. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video. In between games, you go into an arena called the Elysium, which looks really cool. You can speak to NPCs and do little quests as well. It depends on how you really want to use this space. You can just use it to jump around, which tends to be what I do. If Battle Royale isn't your thing, you can play a team deathmatch, but be warned, the matchmaking times were over 5 minutes for something like team deathmatch. I found that the middle one here, Battle Royale, was the quickest games to get into at the time of recording. One of the questions I keep seeing online is, why is Blood Hunt not on the Xbox? And I'm going to pull this really nice quote from purexbox.com. Quote, "The studio wants to ensure it has enough time to work on Blood Hunt without sacrificing quality, and that means limiting the number of platforms at launch." End quote. I think that really does show the team's dedication to the main console, of course the PlayStation 5, but if you're not a console player, you can enjoy this on your Steam Deck or on your PC. Again, it's free to play, which I definitely feel is more of the kind of pulling power with this, because if this had a cost to it, I don't think I would have played it. I do think it needs a lot of time to be able to understand everything, and there's lots of replay value, like I said, because there's different factions, all with different supernatural powers as you go into this. There are, of course, different ways to kill your foes. You can just shoot them, which tended to be what I do, or you can drag them into the air like that and just suck the blood out of them and then collect all of their loot. It can be pretty gruesome in areas, but I think it works really well. So thank you again to my friend Waz for suggesting this one. Again, he suggested it quite some time ago. I'm definitely going to be giving this a whirl over on my Twitch streams. If you want to see me stream this, or perhaps you want to team up, maybe we can team up, and you need to follow me and make sure that you have your eyes and ears on when I go live. This is a great game to get into, guys, and it's free, so I definitely suggest you check it out. I'm probably going to get roasted for this, but until this initial recording, which is actually a recording from my live stream, I had spent less than 60 minutes with Rocket League. That's right, a game that's been out for so long, a game that I've failed to get into, and believe you me, my skills were seriously lacking, but boy did I have fun. This game is definitely one that's going to be permanently on my radar for the rest of the year, and probably for the near future as well. This is amazing, and I was blown away that it was free when I was doing my research for this video, because we know that on the PlayStation Store, both for PS4 and PS5, there's well over 100 free games, this being one of them. But all is not lost, because there were people in my stream at the time that also hadn't played this, so I'd like to think that me giving it a little whirl on my stream added just a fraction of value for some people. For those that don't have a PS5, that's fine, because there's no PS5 update for this. It is the PS4 on the PS5. But I think that's absolutely fine. I think that graphically, this game doesn't really require on really nice graphics and 60 frames per second. Whilst that's an absolute caveat and a beaut, features to have, I think this game does run really, really well. And I am looking forward to honing in on my skills on Rocket League. Vigo, however it's pronounced. It's spelled Vigor. This is a game that I've been familiar with for a very long time, and I'd probably say I've put more hours into this than any game on the list. Now, at first glance, it would be easy to note that this is a battle royale. It's actually not. It does look incredibly similar to the likes of PUBG, although the graphics are a lot better and it runs a lot better. But this is what's known as a looter shooter, and there's various maps that have been released over the different updates over the last couple of years. So you actually start off with your base, and within your base there's lots of different things around you, such as a shooting range and different areas that you can try to train in. The aim of the game are to dive into these big maps, levels, arenas, whatever you want to call them, gather resources without being killed, and then get to a safe exit. But be warned, if you do get killed, you lose everything that you have looted throughout your efforts. You can use your crowns to buy insurance, which protects your gear if you happen to die, but the aim of the game is not to die, so you can tackle this in a number of ways. You can be like me and run and gun your way through and just get killed every time, or you can spend time to scope out the map, sit and wait, hide in houses, do whatever you want to do. Now, there's various exits on a map, and you can see that some of the exits have little red icons next to them. That means you need certain materials for that exit to become available, or you can risk it and run to the open exit. But obviously a lot of people camp there because it's an open exit and it's just the perfect way to pick people off. Throughout the maps as well, there are drops. You can use these drops to get even more resources, but you can kind of set booby traps. If you find it's almost like a little outpost with a radio, you can utilize that radio to tap into, put in little decoys and duplicating the drops, or having dummies. There's lots of different things you can do on this. So I think for me, I love just chilling out and playing with my friends. Reese and I have played, Waz and I have played this. This is a great game, and it's very well supported. There's also there's other modes as well. It's like a weird team deathmatch kind of mode, but this is a great mode, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the grind of this game.
The bravest Outlanders will fight for it.
If you're like me and you like your role-playing games, this could potentially be for you. This is Dauntless. It's a very cute action RPG kind of game where you play the role of a slayer and you head into the world to tackle these behemoths. There's lots of different types of behemoths that you come across in the world, and I really like the fact that it's text heavy. The developers have clearly put a lot of thought into giving lots of life to these characters through the menu systems, and I got the sense that this game is going to be packed full of microtransactions, unless, similar to Fortnite, you grind and grind and grind. So if you're one of the people that are watching this episode and you want something new to sink your teeth into, that you don't have to spend any money, you can just literally sit down and grind, Dauntless might be the RPG for you. It is, of course, the classic formula of gaining XP, improving weapons, abilities, etc, etc. But there were times as I introduced myself to Dauntless that I wondered what the target audience was. This isn't a game I would necessarily sit down and want to grind. I much prefer to actually dive back into Skyrim. Does that make me old school and sad? Potentially. But it was actually at the time, my 10-year-old nephew that told me about this game. So I was wondering if it was actually aimed at them, you know, that kind of age group. I still don't have the answer to it. There's the kind of graphical cartoony style that makes me question the seriousness of this RPG. It kind of reminds me of Fable in a way, but everybody loves Fable, right? But I'm still on the fence about the target audience with this. I don't think this is for the hardcore RPG players by any chance. But who knows, maybe you want to kind of dampen your toes into trying something a little bit more tame, in which case this could potentially be right down your alley.
Strike now, or you'll never take that behemoth down.
I think overall what's shocking about this is that it is free. It definitely feels like it has so many different levels and so many developers have spent time on making this relatively refined experience. The world certainly feels fleshed out. There's so much to do, so much to see, and in between fighting the behemoths or in between your training, you kind of come back to this arena, which again is packed full of other online players, things to do, things to see. So it's really, really nice. I think clearly a lot of time has been put into this. Is it something I'll play in the long run? I'm very much on the fence, but I'm delivering it to you in the hope that you guys can maybe tempt me that little bit more. Guys, this is Dauntless. Let me know what you think. The light in the darkness could potentially be triggering for some. It was, of course, set in the times of the Holocaust with a Polish family living out their lives in France. The developer wanted to tell a story and help people to understand things that happened back then, and I think that's why it's worth pointing out that this can be triggering for some people. You don't see any violence in this game. Whilst I haven't completed it, I have done research onto how far this game actually goes. And I can assure you that from what I've read, it does seem like it's a relatively, I guess, placid approach, but be warned, it is an age 16 game, so this is definitely not going to be suited for kids, despite the cartoony vibe to it. Now, I felt like the gameplay was incredibly slow and thoughtful, but it really worked. I mean, I'm so used to the likes of immediate gratification, Call of Duty, Fortnite, whatever it is people play, that this game does something different and it taps into a different side of you where you are forced to take your time. The game is heavily scripted. There are, of course, lighter parts in the game, and I think it will resonate with some people watching this. So you need to check this one out. It is free, but it is also available on other platforms if you don't own a PlayStation 5, such as the Xbox One and the PC.
So my personal favourite from that list is definitely Vigo, or Vigo, however it's pronounced. Looter shooter, really nice, steady, slow pace. It's a little bit like a battle royale, but don't be fooled. Like I said, it is not a battle royale. You need to improve your base by going into these various levels, collecting resources. There's also the option of going into like a team deathmatch kind of thing as well. So there's like different modes if you want a little break from the resource gathering element. I'd love to see how this develops. They do do little seasonal things as well at Christmas. As the kind of loot airplane goes across the sky, it turns into like Santa Claus's sleigh, for example. So I do like that kind of seasonal element to it. But this list, I think on the whole, delivers you a really nice package of free games to get your teeth sunk into. Of course, it can be very expensive to go out and buy £60–70 on a video game. So I think this is a really cool way to enjoy video games free without going anywhere. So let me know if you can add any to the list. There are of course hundreds on this store. I just narrowed it down to my personal favourites for you. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and it would really help me out if you could share this episode. But for now, I'm going to leave it there, bid you farewell, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.